Good afternoon, everybody. A little Pat Benatar to start our afternoon or end our afternoon or whatever we're doing. Fun fact, did you know that Pat Benatar is actually a classically trained opera singer? You know that? Classically trained opera singer who decided rock and roll was a better path. I'm thinking she probably made the right decision. All right, so how was your day? It was awesome? That's great, that's great. Awesome is always good. Let's get started with a little something. Well, I'd love to say a little something different, but it's not different. You know what I'm gonna play you. So let's just go there.
This comes from Emily Downey from Elkins Park, Pennsylvania. This is a picture of my grandmother and I blowing out the candles on her cake. Oh, that's sweet. Look at, oh, what's in the back on the chair? Let's zoom in. Oh. Handcuffs and a cake. They're celebrating Grandma's parole. That's fantastic. Why would that be there? Jackie Bruley from Bloomington, Minnesota. My boyfriend was at the gym and took this photo of a woman on a treadmill. Yeah. You can always spot her in the lap pool. She's the one on the jet ski. Carolyn Ingber from Washington, D.C. I was traveling abroad and I spotted this sign in the grocery store. It says, fresh herpes. No. That's not. I believe they meant fresh herbs. I think it's an honest mistake, nothing to get sore about.
Oh, get it? Nothing to get sore about. Come on, that was good. All righty. So anyway, let's dive forward. We have some shift winners, I think, from yesterday.
Yes, we do. We have, hold on, we have Andy Walbert in Ridgefield and Bill Ferguson in Sanford. So again, if you have the books, guys, awesome. I hope you're reading them. If you want to gift it to a co-broke agent, let us know who, and we will get it to them. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Congratulations to today's winners. I have to believe we're getting at least close to the halfway mark of all these books that we've been giving out.
No,
Are we almost done?
We're beyond the halfway point. We may have another week left. We'll see.
All right. So keep tuning in, because if you haven't won, you're running out of time to win. I see Jen Bernanke today. Hey, is that baby still in there? How much longer?
Tomorrow.
Is that right, for real? Tomorrow! Woohoo! I love it. Well, I do hope you'll be on at 9 and at 4:30. You can have the baby in between.
Maybe at 9, definitely not 4:30.
Well, we'll all be thinking about you tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to go beautifully. And we can't wait to meet little Bernanke baby. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So really, I only have two things for you this afternoon, and that is something that Gary mentioned yesterday. But before we go there, I do want to give you at least an update on our MLS conversation from the other day. As most of you know, I have had numerous conversations with the MLS. I've had conversations with myself. I've had conversations with others about the information I got from the MLS. And for those of you who were on yesterday, you know that the MLS came back and said this is a decision that's being made to prevent fair housing issues, because we could potentially be viewed as being discriminating against people who are unwilling to fill out a form. And so I've spent a lot of time kind of reviewing fair housing law and looking up and down about how that really makes sense. And what I come down to is that form filler outers are not a protected class. Now, I don't know if that will hold up in court. If anything, if any, but truly, if what they're afraid of is that someone is being discriminated against because they're not filling out a form, well, that in and of itself is not a protected class. Now, I will tell you that that's not what they're most concerned about. What they're most concerned about is that this illness would be considered a disability, and people with disabilities are a protected class, and yet we're not necessarily discriminating against a person with a disability. In this environment, the decision where I'm going to come down on this, and you'll get an official release from me tomorrow, with an official letter that you can send to your sellers, because I want your sellers to understand what is going on and what we're kind of battling here on their behalf. But I also want to say something else on the other side. So let me get through this. The idea of I think this is really a conversation about a homeowner's property rights versus fair housing rights. I don't really think it's a fair housing issue. I think it's more of a property rights conversation, and that our sellers, not us, not me as the broker, and not the state, not NAR, gets to determine who goes into their home because they own the property, right? We don't own the property, the buyers don't own the property, and the governor doesn't own the property, NAR doesn't own the property. So at the end of the day, I look at this as a property rights issue. And so what you'll hear released from me in a more eloquent fashion than I'm about to give to you guys today, but you were on the call when we brought it up, and so I wanted you to have the information as quickly as I had it in my head, is that I'm going to come down on this ruling in favor of our sellers and our buyers, because that document protects both our buyers and our sellers. And what that means is we're going to leave this decision about whether or not you utilize this document with your listings with your sellers. That will begin Monday, June the 1st. Right now, as if you remember, we kind of mandated that everyone needs to use it, right? That mandate itself, as this environment changes, the mandate itself will go away. Your ability to use it, however, will not, right? Because many of you have worked very hard to help sellers understand what we're doing to protect them, to make sure that they will go on the market. And for me to sit here and tell you that you have to reverse course on that because the MLS made a decision out of fear, and I do believe that the MLS made a decision out of fear. They may decide to backtrack on that decision, or they may not. And I'm okay either way. They're not going to force your listings off the market, because the second you hear from the MLS about a complaint about one of your listings or showings or whatnot, please don't address it yourself. Please get me involved immediately, because I kind of shoved myself in the middle of you and your listings and the MLS at this point. And so I want to be that buffer zone for you. I don't want this issue to make you feel like you're handcuffed doing your own business, which is why we're looking to make this decision your seller's decision, right? And so when your sellers decide what they want to have done in order to have people enter their home, I believe we stand on much firmer ground than if we go back to the MLS or any governing body and say, well, the brokerage decided. Well, who's the brokerage to decide who gets to go into somebody's house? That's not our decision either. And so we are going to come down on the side of homeowners' rights and property rights, leave that decision with you and with your sellers, with your guidance. In the meantime, that choice opens up on Monday, on June the 1st, right? In the meantime, here's what we've noticed. People who had complaints about filling out this form, when mentioned that this is the homeowner's choice to allow that showing, all of a sudden backed off. All of a sudden weren't yelling and screaming. I would say most of them, because you are going to have the people who are going to beat their chests and think that this is some sort of national crisis that we have to deal with for filling out a form. We've even had people, Berkshire Hathaway was a company that was giving us the most trouble, because Gene Marconi, as the general counsel of Berkshire Hathaway, decided that these forms were unconstitutional and were setting us back, back to the days when the kings ruled from across the ocean, or some version of that, right? Even Berkshire Hathaway agents who once the information went out on the MLS stood up and said, well, the MLS says we don't have to do this anymore. When we said, well, you know what, I get that, and yet right now our brokerage is discussing that directly with the MLS, and it's the seller's choice to have that filled out before they enter, before anyone enters the home. And we left it simply at that. A day went by, and those same Berkshire Hathaway agents voluntarily sent the form in signed. So here's the thing. No one's trying to make this more difficult for you. As a matter of fact, this whole process exists to try and help you help your sellers make better decisions so that we have more inventory on the market to sell. That's what's driving this whole conversation. It's what's driven it for 10 weeks. And because, again, I believe the MLS made a fast decision based on a couple of loudmouth people who waved their hands and said, I don't think this is right. I think they made a fast decision out of fear. I don't make decisions out of fear. I'd rather look at facts and help each of us make decisions out of facts. And so that's kind of where we are today. It is becoming a choice for you, for your seller and you to discuss, and whatever the seller decides is how you should cruise forward. If we run into trouble with the MLS, so here I want to say this out loud so you hear it. The MLS will not force you to remove your listing from the market until or unless they have had a conversation / argument with me first. So don't be fearful that all of a sudden your listings are going to get shut off the MLS. That is not how this will work. If there's a problem, direct the MLS to me and let me know immediately, and I will call Kathy and we will sit and have a conversation around it. She didn't get back to me, by the way, when I asked her to find out from her attorney what happens if our brokerage decides to sit that rule out, and she said she would, and she didn't get back to me. So I think we're gathering some more information here that this is a posture that really can't be backed up with any real rule. You get to make the decision starting Monday. Tomorrow I'll release that to the entire market center in an email, and I will attach to that a letter to your sellers in case you feel you want to forward that, so that and you don't have to forward it. I'm offering it in case it comes up that you want to put the sellers on notice that we're dealing with this, and we're right now taking a stand against what the MLS is advising on their behalf. I encourage you to share it with your sellers, because if something else happens a week or two from now, where all of a sudden we end up having no choice in the matter, I would like for you to have that conversation with your sellers now so that they're informed, right? And so I will write something that you can choose to either utilize as a script to have a conversation or forward to them so that we're all prepared. At the end of the day, guys, I'll tell you how I really feel, because it's 4:30 and you guys pretty much get the unfiltered, Rick. Everyone at 9 o'clock gets more filtering, but at 4:30, it's been a long day and you get unfiltered. How I really feel about this is that it's such a massive waste of all of time and effort and energy when everyone is attempting to do the absolute best they can possibly do to wade through uncharted territory, to keep people safe, to keep people moving forward and keep us all writing business. I think it's a shame that we're even having this conversation, and yet no one asked me before having it, so therefore we're having it. So that's where we stand on that. Any comments or questions about that before we move to our last thing today? Okay, cool. So the last thing for the day, I just wanted in our mastermind with Gary yesterday, and thank you for allowing me to skedaddle early so I could get back to that, because there was some really good stuff on that mastermind. One of the things that Gary said is kind of stuck in my head. Well, about 17 things Gary said yesterday have stuck in my head in the last 24 hours. But the one I wanted to share with you today and get your feedback on is this. He said, you know, in times like this, if you're not utilizing every single advantage that you have, you should be. And he said that, and I thought, I wonder if collectively as a team, we are utilizing every single advantage we have at our disposal to make sure that we are winning, to make sure that we're coming out on top. And part of what I mean by that is I get on calls and somebody down in Austin shows me something that this company offers us. And I had no idea that it was even offered. I had no idea that that was a part of Command, or I had no idea that that website existed, or that avenue towards script work existed. And I think to myself, my goodness, I'm on all these calls all the time. If I don't know this stuff exists, how on earth does everybody else know that this stuff exists? And so what I'd like your feedback on is what I'd like to do over the course of the next week or two is fill in some of our 9 a.m.s and 4:30s with just 5 or 10 minute segments on, hey, did you know that we actually have this? And here's where it is. Hey, did you know that we have this opportunity? And here's where to find it. Hey, did you know that this is coming up? Here's how to register for that. Would that be useful to everybody to make sure that you're utilizing a full arsenal of strategies and tools? Just give me like a thumbs up if that makes sense to you. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. For those of you not thumbs upping, will you not come on those 9 o'clock mornings? I'm not going to tell you when they are. So you're going to have to at least suffer through half of it before you say, oh crap, it's that thing that I didn't want. I just thought that it would be useful to make sure that we're all engaging at the highest level possible and utilizing every tool that we can. We've done I think a good version of that by featuring many of our agents in the last number of weeks who are utilizing tools and having them tell you about the tools that they're utilizing. And yet we haven't touched all of them. We haven't covered a lot of the other material. So I want to make sure that we're plugging in on that. Anything else from you guys? Questions, comments, concerns before we finish up today? If anybody can see Gary Disher, I love that he has Marvin the Martian behind him. Do you see that Marvin the Martian is on our call behind Gary? Hold on, I'm going to spotlight him for those of you who can't see him. Look, there's Marvin the Martian. Hello. I'm not sure Gary even knows that we're doing this because he's on the phone and very upset about something. Or he has itchy allergy eyes. I can't quite tell. All right, enough. Anything else before we finish?
I like Marie's shades too. Those are nice.
Oh, indeed.
Rick, how are the opening of the offices going?
So great question, Dawn. I'll answer it this way. They're going kind of awesome. And that's, I think, mostly because we don't have a whole lot of people coming in.
Okay.
So it's awesome in that it hasn't changed all that much from last week. We do have a full staff here every day, so that's different. We have seen a number of you kind of in and out, and that's been really exciting. And yet we haven't seen a whole ton of people each day. I would say probably on average about 3 or so a day in the Ridgefield Market Center. And Steve, what are you seeing down in the Stanford Market Center? About 5?
Don, we had more yesterday or today, Don? What was the number?
Yesterday was our biggest number. I think there may have been like 13 people total in and out. Today was a very light day.
Yeah. So you know what, the good news is that, and that's exciting to us, and it's exciting on both fronts. It's exciting to see some of you in person. You know, we get to show you our shirts to make sure that you're getting that virtual hug. It says, I'm hugging you right now, right? And so, and it's also exciting to know that that many of you are choosing to stay at home and continue to work from home, because at the end of the day, we have done everything we can possibly do to create safe environments for you, and yet you're the safest at home. So we're excited about both. We're excited to see you, and we're excited to see you on Zoom. Do know that that we're going to continue to roll things out. Next week likely won't change all that much, just by the way. And if knowing that the numbers are pretty light in the market center allows you to feel better about going in and dipping your toe in the pool, we encourage you to do that if that's something you want to do. If you have to come and grab something from your desk or your office, you can certainly do that. Use a computer, use whatever. But again, I don't want you to feel pressured to come back into the office, and yet that is an opportunity if you so choose to use it.
Hey, Rick. Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
Want to know about our mask order, but first I'd like to let everybody know that we have an order so far for 36 of these shirts. So if any more of you want them, get your order in soon so we can place a big order. That's really exciting. And we're sending this very shirt to Gary Keller.
Beautiful. I love it.
So what about our masks?
Excellent. So the mask order, we do believe that they are on target, and so they should be done tomorrow and shipped. We should receive them Monday or Tuesday, and then we will make those announcements so that you can come and grab them. And you don't have to come into the market center to grab them. We can simply arrange our Dropbox system is all still fully functional, and so we will make sure that continues to be available to you for drop off and pick up. Anything else? I didn't see Marvin's comment in the chat box earlier that their disability is not being able to fill out the form. I like that. That's fun. And yet, I'm not here to judge. Not here to judge. We're going to keep smiling, guys, and I appreciate you wading through this interesting time with me and with all of us. So thanks for always being a part. Thanks for spending some time this afternoon. We will see you bright and early tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. for some more fun and facts. Take care.